Breaking: Jim John's own son has formally disowned him and thrown him out like a stranger. You won't believe what just happened, but wait. Sources claim that he apparently did the unimaginable by touching Chrissy. And let's just say that what followed next wasn't beautiful. Chrissy didn't simply sit there and take it. Oh no, she snapped. Before Jim could even, despite what happened to him, his own flesh and blood turned against him. And this is where things get more worse. Some people on the streets are claiming that this wasn't a fight that happened on the spur of the moment. Yes, this was prearranged. Rumor has it that Jim's son had been waiting for an excuse to fire his father. But why was there a covert treachery? A secret agenda? Or what? There is something even more sinister going on here. This is not merely family drama. It is a complete betrayal. And believe me when I say that after you hear what actually transpired, you will never again look at Jim Jones the same way. In the same vein, pay attention because this is about to get dirty. Hold on to your seats because this isn't just another rapper drama. This is Jim Jones on steroids. Reality TV, the self-described Harlem legend and reality TV star, has definitely reached the bottom. And no, we're not referring to album sales. Though let's face it, numbers aren't exactly soaring either. Discussing a full-fledged real-life domestic catastrophe that developed more quickly than Jim's career after 2010. So let's take a moment to recap what happened in order to completely comprehend this. For those of you who need a refresher, Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampen's love story was based on red signals before the nuclear meltdown. They have been together these two have endured everything: cheating, rumors, violent altercations, uncomfortable reality TV proposals, and more, for more than 20 years, which in the world of rap is essentially a life sentence. Nevertheless, they managed to stay together, since it seemed like it was taking too long for him to man up. Chrissy even proposed to Jim first. What did Jim do? He hesitated, and the man fumbled harder than a SoundCloud.rapper's first live performance. But after a few years, things were still not going well. Jim refused to commit. Chrissy became very irritated, and the fans were only watching. The night everything went to hell, Chrissy and Jim are enjoying popcorn, while they wait for the inevitable tragedy to arrive. Imagine this. It's late at night in their home because, yes, they still cohabitate, despite all of their problems. It's a little toxic. Perhaps there's a lot of drama, and nobody knows precisely what caused the disagreement. But according to our sources, by which we mean internet users who enjoy conjecturing, had something to do with money laundering and Jim's failure to behave like a responsible adult. Chrissy was going off, and with good reason. She rode for this man for years, supporting him and sticking by him even when he said he didn't understand the meaning of loyalty. And Jim, instead of saying sorry, he acted like an adult and didn't just storm out and slam the door. But Jim went too far and slapped Chrissy. Yes, you heard correctly. Jim Jones, the Chrissy, was touched by the same man who constantly claims to be all about love and respect, in front of witnesses, in his own home. And guess who was there? If Jim Jones believed he could just go after realizing his mistake, he was completely mistaken, since the instant his hand made contact with his son, the room fell silent as soon as Chrissy's face appeared, and even the furniture asked, "Bro, what did you just do?" Jim's son saw everything, and let me tell you something, he was not. Jim was going to overlook it, but he barely had time to respond before his own flesh and blood intervened. His son, who, let's face it, has likely grown tired of his father's bullshit over the years, was not amused. He squared up while playing, looked his father in the eye, and said, "No, you're not going to do this." Then, all of a sudden, Jim tried to seem as if nothing had occurred after his own son completely destroyed him. "You guys should relax," he murmured, wiping his broken lip. But his son wasn't finished because of all the bullshit. The only thing left to do after all, the disrespect, is to leave. That's right, Jim Jones, the rapper and reality TV star, was evicted from his own home by his son, pointed to the door and stated, "You're not welcome here." Chrissy simply crossed her arms and nodded, without saying anything, leaving Jim speechless by everything that had. Simply put, he had no choice but to get his belongings and leave. He was gone in an instant, but where did he go? And how did the internet respond to this complete circus of a scandal? Believe me, you're not prepared for the fallout. Jim Jones's son evicted him from his own home after he slapped Chrissy, which was a shocking and entirely self-inflicted setback. But if you thought the drama ended there, you're mistaken. This was only the beginning. In 2025, being revealed in your own house is one thing, but being exposed online is quite another. Jim Jones confronting the internet was a humiliating experience. And when I say that social media did not hold back, I mean that they attacked him as if he were the ultimate ruler of poor choices. As soon as the news emerged, the hashtag #ChalkJimJonesCancelled went viral on Twitter or X, whatever we're calling it now. Within hours, the memes were vicious. According to one user, uploaded a side-by-side photo of Jim before and after his son knocked him unconscious with the description, "Jim Jones thought he was a little tough until his son dipped him out of the house another time, and it was even harder." Sharing a photoshopped picture of Jim Jones going down the street with his bags packed, and the comment, "Live footage of Jim Jones looking for a new place to stay," meant that the jokes didn't end there. Discovered old love and hip-hop videos of Chrissy criticizing JY for being immature and not committing to writing. Chrissy has been attempting to leave this man for 20 years, and even his own son is over him. However, the worst of all was when someone changed Jim's personal life entry on Wikipedia to read "former rapper and current couch surfing enthusiast." As if that weren't bad enough, they made him unemployed as well. The disrespect was outrageous, but it went beyond memes, because when something this bizarre occurs, the internet turns into a gym, was turned into full detectives. And believe me, they began to dig up everything. If there's one thing about social media, it's that people have receipts. And after Jim was revealed for touching Chrissy, everyone began looking into all of his troublesome past actions. They started by looking into his history of clips from previous episodes of Hype Hop and Old Love that showed Jim dismissing Chrissy's worries, making jokes about her, and treating her like an afterthought. Later went viral, following his success in music. A widely shared tweet said that Jim Jones was seriously hurting his personal life, as if he hadn't already destroyed his rap career. Another one said, "Imagine being ejected by your son, and your most recent hit was Brutal in 2006, but after that, things took a bad turn, as people began calling for actual repercussions. The fallout brands and businesses begin to sever relationships, and this is where Jim's predicament moved from embarrassing to financially disastrous. Although he may no longer be at the top of the charts, Jim still had business deals. He was able to stay afloat through partnerships and brand sponsorships, but after the internet turned against him, those agreements quickly fell through. First, his apparel line, Vamp Life, released an ambiguous yet very clear statement. At Vamp Life, we do not tolerate violence or abuse of any kind. This will take effect right away, and we will be reassessing our connection with Jim Jones, who was out at the time. Due to recent events, one of his largest partnerships, which invested in his cannabis company, declared that they, after being evicted from his own home, Jim decided to take option 2, which is to try to clean their name or withdraw from social media, avoid the media, and hope that people will just go on. His complete silence. No Instagram photos, tweets, interviews, or anything else led to the major query: where the hell did Jim Jones go? Some sources, sometimes known as internet investigators, have too much spare time. He was reportedly staying with a friend in New Jersey at the time, but other people conjectured that he returned to his mother's house. If that's the case, the internet had a field day. One person said, Jim Jones went from depressed to ecstatic after posting another picture. He asked his mother if he could sleep on the couch, and she responded by asking Chrissy. At this point, Jim was being ridiculed from all sides, and the ones closest to him were speaking out while he was hiding. After days of rumors, Chrissy eventually broke her quiet. She didn't do, rather than writing a lengthy Instagram post, she went live on Instagram, poured herself a glass of wine, and stated, "I told y'all," and that was it. There were no tears or lengthy explanations. Unadulterated enthusiasm, and to be honest, the internet adored it. One admirer said that Chrissy had been warning us about Jim for years, and that we should have listened. Another said that Chrissy appeared happy. Karma is real when Jim is homeless. Jim's kid, on the other side, wasn't saying much either, although he did post something on his Instagram account with the straightforward statement, "Have to handle business. I have no regrets or apologies. I just did what I had to do." This leads us to the crucial question of what Jim Jones's future holds, as he is currently likely homeless and without a job. Internet cancellation. But does he have a plan to rectify this? Or is this the official end of Jim Jones's story? Trust me, this isn't the end yet. Jim Jones had reached his lowest moment with his son. Expelled him. Chrissy was having the time of her life. The internet pulled him for filth. His business deals were gone. His festival reservations were cancelled. And worst of all, he was utterly silent, and there was no harm. If we know anything about celebrities who are exposed, it's that they usually attempt to make a return. Some succeed, like Jim Jones, although he failed spectacularly. Let's examine how Jim's attempt at redemption descended into an even greater catastrophe. Jim's initial move was the weakest apology ever, and after 2 weeks of total silence, he eventually made a comeback. And what did he do? He apologized on the Notes app, which is the quintessential lazy celebrity gesture. He followed it up with a caption that said, "We all make mistakes. Mistakes. I'm taking some time to think things through and develop, and I hope you all do the same, sir. You were expelled from your own home, and others weren't buying it." Jim, one user, wrote this in the wild, using the free Wi-Fi in the McDonald's parking lot. Someone else made an apology on the Notes app without mentioning Chrissy or a son. He then sat down because no one else was doing it. Chrissy didn't reply to his apologies. His kid ignored him, and his haters, oh, they came in. Some even created a phony petition with the heading, "Keep Jim Jones out of the house." Yes, a complete petition was started in 2024, and guess what? It received 50,000 signatures. I don't do anything that nasty people act like I'm the worst dude out here. But Jim lost it, man. You guys always want to bring up the past. Oh, it was awful. His voice was unsteady, and he was obviously upset. He even said, "You guys are acting like I'm some villain while these other rappers out here are doing worse, sir." Which isn't a defense. Rather, it's an admission of remorse. And the audio tape went popular for all the wrong reasons once it was released online. One TikTok user captioned it, saying, "Jim Jones is trying to avoid culpability, like he dodged a long-term commitment." Another wrote, "Bro, I'm fighting for my life in this interview, and I'm losing." Jim should have stopped at this time, but instead, he made one last attempt, the last desperate move he makes. With his career in ruins, Jim made a final desperate effort to turn things around. He sought to win Chrissy back, and he did it with a lavish romantic gesture. Oh, Jim delivered gifts, flowers, and a handwritten card to Chrissy's house. To her surprise, Chrissy didn't even open the door. Instead, she uploaded a photo of the flowers and the garbage with a remark, "Too little, too late," and the internet liked it. One person tweeted that Chrissy was discarding those flowers, much like Jim had thrown away 20 years of her life. Another person added, "Bro, don't write the handwritten letter." Believes he's in a Niners R&B music video. At this moment, Jim's career was officially finished. His relationship was ruined. His reputation was shattered, and he vanished. Following weeks of public humiliation, Jim Jones vanished from sight. No more interviews or tweets were made, and people began joking about his whereabouts. Jim, and witness protection from his own profession, according to a security guard at Chrissy's new home. But in reality, Jim quit the industry entirely. His music ceased charting. His brand deals never returned. Chrissy moved on and began dating a young real estate tycoon, an entrepreneur who, based on reports, truly knows how to treat her well. As well as Jim, he was attempting to launch a podcast, as we previously heard, because he obviously is. But let's face it, who is listening to this, my friends? This is what happens when you take a woman for granted and the internet holds. Jim believed he was untouchable, but it turned out that he wasn't, and that put an end to the year's most outrageous collapse. Do you think Jim deserved this? Or did the internet go too far? Leave a comment below. Let's talk. And remember to like, subscribe, and check back for more in-depth analyses like this one. As you are aware, we don't sugarcoat anything because this, ladies and gentlemen, Jim Jones has officially lost in what may be the most bizarre celebrity breakdown of the year. It involved a legendary rapper, an enraged son, and a slap so loud it reverberated online. Now picture yourself in your own house, feeling powerful and untouchable, and you and your longtime partner get into a furious quarrel. Things become nasty, with Chrissy Lampin's voice. Get up and then you slap her, which is inconceivable. But guess what? You overlooked one small element. Son is watching from right there. He didn't take it well, to put it mildly. Please let me know what happens next. Oh, just a full-fledged family conflict with a son taking charge, a father receiving his own treatment.